bag of this stuff over his shoulder, Nicodemus. Nicodemus proved, though we don't see it in this text, that he was willing to give up his life, lose his life for Christ's sake. And here's the good thing. If you're a Christian, we'll get a chance, I'm pretty confident, to sit down and chat with Nicodemus one day, because Nick got it right? He stood up and stepped out. God got involved in his life. He got absolved of his sins. He got new spirit in his life. He lived for God. His works of standing up were wrought or manufactured or made or carried out in God. God changed this guy. I don't know where you're at with Christ. You may be in the beginning of this, checking it out. You may be sitting there like I was at the very end of the time of me fighting this. I had all the trappings, like I said, singing songs, listening to sermons, reading the Bible, but there was some holdouts in my heart. Like there is, I think, in everybody's testimony you hear, there's some things we're hanging on to. It reminds me of the family that was going through the old, expensive antique store. And the family's splitting up, and they all go into their corners, and all of a sudden, Johnny, the youngest in the family, gets his hand stuck in a very expensive old vase. Dad's frustrated. Family reassembles in the corner, hoping no one sees them as they try to tug Johnny's hand out of the vase, and it just is not going. So after about 10 minutes of tugging and pulling, trying to get this thing out, they can't do it. So they walk up, dejected, a little, embarrassed to the clerk at the front desk, and they say, I'm sorry, but my son got his hand stuck in this vase. Do you have any, can we get a wet rag, maybe get some water in there? Do you have any soap in the back? Grease, I don't know. Can you help us with this? And so the clerk starts, oh yeah, we got some of that, goes in the back, gets him back there, greases up his arm, and just cannot get the kid's hand out of the vase. They tug on it, they pull on it, they try and they try. And after repeated failure, finally Dad recognizes, after he looks at the price tag on the vase, oh man, one last expensive look at the vase, he says to the clerk, well, I guess we have no other choice. Do you have a hammer? And so the clerk goes, yeah, we got a hammer. So mom's reaching into her, purse, get her wallet ready to make this big purchase, and, Dad's frustrated, and Johnny's tears start to well up as Dad grabs the hammer. They lay a towel out on the counter there, and the hand in the vase is stuck on the counter, and Dad's just about to crack that vase open and get his son's hand out, and Johnny, with tears starting to stream down his face, says, Dad? He says, yeah, son. He said, would it help if I let go of the quarter? Yeah, that would help. And of course, he drops the quarter and slips his hand out. I don't know what you're hanging on to, but I haven't met someone who's a real Christian who at the very end went clutching something, hanging on to something. And all I got to say is whatever you're hanging on to, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Turn your trust to Christ. Like Nicodemus, a good Pharisee, the average American, can you just let go of whatever it is? Put your trust in him. He'll change you. He'll renew you. He'll forgive you. Life won't be perfect from here to heaven. It's going to be tough, but you'll have God in your life. You'll have Christians come around you. It'll be a different kind of experience. Put your trust in him today. Pray with me. God,